The oldest chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, Fingerland.
Yeah.
Shank's dead.
We about to find out.
Well, we're technically already recording.
Hey guys, look into the.
He has all this.
This episode is dedicated to our number one viewer,
Number one
Spell
viewer.
Go. You can see his comment up on the screen right now. This one's for you.
And not in a good way.
Oh no.
So yeah, we've decided to show the other two faces because of Geo's shots, and how Jay was afraid and hid behind his avatar.
Or I just don't have a webcam.
Last time we were talking about the One Piece live action. This time we are kind of doing more of a podcast-centric episode, and we're going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about the Beauty, which is the Kraven trailer. We're going to talk about One Piece, of course. We're going to talk about hype versus expectation, which if you haven't seen the video, check it down below in the links. And yeah, so what do we want to start with?
I don't know, hype versus expectations. Because I know there's a certain number one viewer that doesn't read.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he wouldn't get how people are expecting things to be versus how the movie is or was. Especially when they cut stuff with like lazy writing, like budgets when they have millions of dollars.
Are we talking about
Just anything.
okay. I thought we were talking about his favorite movie, Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, well, I mean I can't really take him seriously because he reviews movies,
Oh no.
and he gave Wonder Woman 1984, which is fucking terrible, a 4.6 out of 5.
I will say, and we had talked about, this is something that we're going to talk about with the podcast, that the three of us are very different spectrums of like each of the things that we like.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for us to be like, well, I like this because of that, etc., etc. But going into Wonder Woman, like, I didn't find Wonder Woman to be that bad, but I would definitely not rate it on that scale. You know what I mean?
Whatever he rated it.
Yeah, I think he did rate it
Pretty fucking high.
Yeah.
We are talking about the second one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The god-awful one.
Yeah.
Because even listening to other people talk about it, I like how we've now become... I've like, now that we've started talking about Wonder Woman as a subject. But a lot of people were like, it's an 80s movie, so why are we not getting any 80s music?
Or
like,
80s anything.
Yeah, no...
Other than the fashion.
Yeah, that's it. And it makes me wonder because there was that, like, at the end, the budget cuts maybe led to them to, like, okay, let's cut back music. Let's cut back any, like, licensing that we have to pay to
writing
get... like,
in general, too. Like, her main rival, antagonist, or whatever. Or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Oh, I just liked her, and the only reason I chose Cheetah is because I liked her pants or some shit.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It's just a terrible... The problem with the cheetah thing is, like, it could have been solved with just better communication. And I always hate when stories, like, main conflict comes down to, like, well, if you had just been better at, like, talking about it, we wouldn't be here. So, like... And then...
Just the writing was bad.
Yeah.
Well, that's the... I don't know, that's... getting into something else. That's kind of the Naruto argument, isn't it? Like, if... Anytime Naruto talks to somebody, that's the conflict ending right there.
Talk no jutsu.
Yeah.
Well, Naruto's got its own litany of...
problems.
That could be a whole podcast. I'm going to make a lot of people mad. Because I love Naruto, but, like...
Yeah, same.
The problem is, most villains come down to, like, war ruined my life, so now I'm going to ruin everyone else's life with war. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Well,
I had a
like,
bad experience, so everyone gets a bad experience.
You know, I feel like Jay understands this because we've watched it a few times. I'm not sure if you've watched Gundam 00. It's kind of the same thing. It's like, we're the ultimate pacifists, but our suits are going to trample everybody else's.
Yeah.
It's like, I get the whole, like,
I'm gonna bring
peace guy.
I'm gonna bring peace through killing everybody who says no to me. Oh, well.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to go.
Well, yeah. And then Naruto comes in and he's just like, bro, chill. And then everyone like, oh, fuck, you're right.
Nobel Prize.
Yeah, it's like, damn, you're right, kid. I'm gonna chill out now. It's like, what are you? You're not real villains.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for real villains, which is why I prefer your Dofas and your Eisens and your guys like that, because it's just like, yeah, I like watching people be evil.
Actually evil, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like, oh, I'm just sad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be really violent about it.
Yeah. Because, you guys know I love the Joker. That's like, I'm the villain because I want to make you a better person. Kind of thing. And it's just like, oh shit. Like, that is kind of cool.
I like monsters. Monsters are cool, man.
we did a very quick aside going into that discussion.
That was a tangent.
So with that, do we want to go into One Piece then?
Yeah, we could talk about One Piece.
Shanks' grandpa or dad?
Spoiler alert?
Oh yeah, this is a manga discussion for One Piece, and we will get into the anime discussion.
We will get into the anime.
I guess we'll timestamp, so like from now on, and then it'll be timestamped in the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so new chapter. We're still waiting. Get well soon to Oda.
So eye surgery.
Eye surgery is good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was
successful. Yeah.
Well, what eye surgery has like 97% effective.
Yeah, not to mention it was for like cataracts too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
he's been staring at fucking lines too much. So did I draw that extra line? Nah.
So yeah, I know both of you guys are really on the like Shanks relation.
Yes, because the Gorsei confirmed it in red.
No, they did not.
They didn't confirm it, but they just
said a connection. They just said connection.
We can't do anything because he's in the Fingerland family. They're not talking about what the fuck is her name again?
Uta.
They weren't talking about her. They were saying if she's really his daughter, then she's part of that family too.
Hey, I just think it's a fun, cool theory because like. We don't know a lot about God Valley. It would be very fascinating. It's like, okay, Ace was in this treasure chest, which I would imagine is symbolic of his like his quality of a being. I didn't know how. And then it's like if the Figurelands are so powerful that they can execute celestial dragons, then like. Okay, if he is related to them, and that guy is like the champion, right? I think that's the official translation. Because at first it was king, but that was the it
was King of God Valley, but then we got through other translations like French, German, etc. That it was more of a champion rather than a king.
So with that being the case, like I think it's more likely that he's his grandfather, just because of like age and stuff.
I mean, Shanks is pretty old.
And then I assume that, like, well, he's like, what, 40-something?
Yeah, I think
so. That would make sense that he's a grandpa. Like, the guy's old.
Because, like, I'm under the impression that Rox is Shanks' dad. Because that would explain his crazy hockey. And, like, I don't know. It just makes sense for where they were. It's like, okay, we find this random baby in the midst of the most important battle of all time. So I'm like, if Rox ran off with the Figureland... or homie's daughter, they had a kid, and that played into what he was trying to do because he was trying to become king of the world. So it's like, if I take someone who's super powerful and I create a lineage with them, then even from a political side, that would give me like a right to some level of power.
Yeah, right? But so let's rewind a little bit. What do we know about God Valley? It was where celestial dragons used to live. It's been erased from the map. We don't know why. But that incident, Gol and Garp had to...
fight the Rocks Pirates.
Fight the pirates, team up and shit.
Yeah.
And Garp was there for protecting celestial dragons.
No, because I think...
as much as he hates them, he had to because he was part of the Navy.
I'm pretty sure that he's asked. Because I think in the scene with... I think it's when Gold meets up with somebody in Impel. It might be... I don't think it's Ace, but it may be. He talks about, like, the favor and how, like, we fought together because I was asked by my brother. Because I thought he was asked by Gold to fight with him.
Yeah, but why were they there in the first place too?
Because my understanding was that they fought together because Rox and his group were so powerful, Gold couldn't do it alone.
Gotcha.
I think it was that, but like, I could have sworn like it had something to do with Rox also trying to like
overthrow the kind of like current status. That isn't like that's not too far fetched of like an idea.
So we have to be getting a flashback to God Valley, right?
I think so, but it probably won't be for a while. It probably won't be until we already kind of have revelations about God Valley. Yeah,
because the introduction of Fingerlin like leads us to believe that we're gonna get more. I know that's not the word, but like elaboration on that.
Yeah.
So they're saying too. I don't know. I read it on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure it. I don't know if it's a theory or if because I know it hasn't been confirmed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a scene where Shanks goes to Whitebeard to talk and brings him that giant thing of sake, and he's like, "Whatever, I gotta talk to you about Ace and all that stuff." Remember, Whitebeard was like, "Every time I see you, it reminds me of that man or whatever," and he like rubs his scar. So apparently, if Fingerlin is his dad, that's who he was talking about because he's the one that gave him the scars on his chest.
Then yeah, that would be a because
then Fingerlin would be fighting with Gol.
Yeah.
Garp against Rox, and at the time Whitebeard was with Rox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing, like, how he fits into it. I guess if he was off fighting Whitebeard, then, like, that makes sense. Because we don't really know
that was an even fight,
where they
too.
are.
That's crazy.
Like, honestly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the other thing is, like, we also don't know how Rox was able to acquire 3 of the most powerful pirates in history. So for all we know,
Kaido didn't have his fruit yet.
Yeah, but he was
still
he
was still the strongest man. Yeah. Did Whitebeard have his fruit yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. I would imagine he's had his fruit like
for a while. Yeah. And that's the thing is that
I mean he's no slouch in hockey.
Yeah. Because I think that's probably why it was such a big deal that Kaido, like, or they say that Kaido didn't have his fruit. Is that if all of them had their fruit, but then Kaido gets it after the battle, like, it's like, oh shit, like he wasn't even at another level, you know what I mean?
Like, he wasn't peak Kaido.
Yeah.
Also, he was still technically a kid.
Yeah.
I think he was like very young while he was there.
He's probably like Zoro's age at the time.
Yeah. Like, he was probably like super impressionable, but like I couldn't imagine someone like Whitebeard joining Rock's crew unless Rox was just like that guy.
Yeah.
So like for all we know, that scar could be from Rock's body.
From what we know, like the whole Rock's Pirates crew was just kind of like renegades, right? They weren't really together. They were together, but they weren't really like working.
It's like almost saying like the most powerful people are together because they are the most powerful.
Yeah.
They know that they can rule the
world. They were
world.
constantly bumping heads.
Yeah.
So like for him to even keep them in check, like let's say we were even like he would still have to have a certain level of authority, and against those guys, it would have to be power.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what makes, because we had talked about it before, like theories and stuff like that, with the idea that like Rox necessarily wasn't as evil as we think, and he was just that powerful to where, like, you know, say, because even after he leaves Rock's Pirates, Whitebeard isn't somebody that's like, I'm going to just go thrash.
Yeah.
Like, he's very much like, I'm going to build my family.
Yeah.
To where if Rox was similar and he just had kind of like a more virtuous goal, but having these two like crazy ass people like Big Mom and Kaido on his crew allows him to achieve that goal.
You mean Hot Mom back then?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Then that would allow like the idea of like, okay, these are a means to my end.
Yeah.
So what is his like for real goal? Because even the hypothesis that like Blackbeard is Rox's kid, and now that we've kind of gotten Blackbeard being like, my goal is just an island for all my homies too. Like that's very crazy.
It's very, now that you bring that up, it's what Blackbeard is doing with his crew. I feel would have been what Rox was doing with his crew. If you really think about it. I think it's very similar.
I think Blackbeard has an easier time. Because, like...
Oh, with this current generation, too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I just mean, like, his crew is also, like... They're the most henchmen, like, feeling crew. Like, they're not very intelligent for the most part, except for, like, the original...
I mean, Kaido wasn't really that smart.
Well, he was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, and they didn't have power. That's one thing I will give him, is, like, his crew didn't have power, and he gave them power. Because, like, I don't think any of them had their devil fruits, except for the one that was in Impel Down, the one that's a giant, but he ate, like, the giant fruit or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I forgot his name.
Something Juan. Something Juan or some shit.
That reminds me, this was a hypothesis during Attack on Titan's near end, was that eating somebody's Titan kind of manifests a little bit of their personality onto the person. Mm-hmm. And going back into the hypothesis that, you know, like we said, this is very spoilery, that Joy Boy's kind of nature is also in that fruit. Mm-hmm. Is that maybe why we get a change of Blackbeard? Because then now that he has Whitebeard's fruit, and this is the first time that we hear, oh, he just wants a place for, like, his pirates, that's very reminiscent of Whitebeard.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, we knew he had a split personality from the jump, but...
Or triple personality.
Yeah. The issue I have with Blackbeard is I think we're trusting him way too much. Because, like, it's very friendly, but that's kind of the problem. Like, he is probably the best manipulator in the series right now. Like, everything's kind of been orchestrated or went to his plan. So it's like, I'm sitting in front of the hero of the Marines, and I'm telling him that, like, I don't really want anything.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm just looking for somewhere for me and my buddies to hang out. It's like, we're all cool here. See, it's like, that's too sus for me.
And like you said, like, Master Manipulator, is that him just trying to get Aokiji on his side?
That too. It's like, oh no, I'm going to play all you guys and make you think, like, no, like, it's not even that big of a deal. I just want to hang out.
He told the wrestler, he's like, we're just going to fight all the time, dude. He's like, I'm down with that.
I mean, we'll see, but Blackbeard's definitely, even if that's the other thing, it could just be one personality that feels that way. So, like, what are the other two personalities thinking? Because,
what if that personality that we saw while he was talking to Kobe was a different personality that we've never seen before?
Yeah, like, maybe that one is the one that's kind of more just like, no, I'm just trying to chill.
Yeah.
What if that's the one that has Whitebeard's fruit, too? Since
that's what I'm saying,
yeah, so...
Because, like, then that comes into play of, you know, there's this big hypothesis of, like, where's his third? Yeah. What third fruit is he going to get? Because if he does get a third...
If he doesn't have it already.
Yeah. And if he does, you know, what personality is that?
Mythical Zoan Kraken, baby. No, I'm saying...
Well, the biggest theory is it's a mythical Zoan Cerberus, right? Since he has three heads or whatever.
Could be, no.
That's also... It complements his style, 3 daggers, 3 guns, 3 whatever, and then his flag makes no sense for him.
Who,
Blackbeard?
The 3 heads?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Other than the theory, it makes no sense. Because why would it be 3 heads?
Yeah, I mean...
So you think
It's gotta be a Zoan, because right now he has a Paramecia and a Logia.
Yeah.
So, like, if he gets all 3...
So, what's that thing? The dark fruit is not really a dark fruit. It's like Luffy's, where it's a mythical Zoan thing, because it's supposed to be the anti to Luffy's.
See, but then that begs the question of, like, us, or I would say almost the whole fandom, especially right now, saying Emu is, like, Luffy's opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then that would also, though, if that is the truth, that means Emu is kind of a red herring for the true enemy.
It could be one of those things where, like, and this is super headcanon-y situation, where, like, because I know we've talked about it, where, like, maybe some of the fruits are, like, Emu isn't a Zoan as much as, like, that's just what it is, and then, like, they wished for fruits that were akin to whatever Im is.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it's one of those things where, like, if Im dies, that soul does transfer into a fruit, and then Blackbeard attains that fruit,
Yes.
and then he ends up with the Zoan darkness thing that Im is, that complements his other two fruits.
That also goes into the hypothesis too that
what if Blackbeard's
somebody can pass it?
Been the red herring this whole time?
I
think him and his whole crew is kind of on fraud watch because he never wins on screen, and his whole crew's I don't care. Warp fruits. I don't give a fuck. You guys almost lost to Law and a band of homies. like they're all supports.
Let's not forget the polar bear homie, dude.
Beppo's like he pulled that out to save Law. Like, bro, imagine if he like did it in the fight. Like, we might be having a different conversation. Law might be fucking.
So by the time, from what we know of Blackbeard, he got the book that tells him what every fruit is, which we don't even know where the book came from. So when he saw the dark fruit or whatever, and he recognized it and he betrayed whatever to get it, did he already have the three-headed fruit?
I don't think
because he would have to, right? Because then he wouldn't have been able to. Because if he got the dark fruit first, and then the three-headed fruit or whatever, then there's no way it would have stacked.
But do we have confirmation of the fruit, a three-headed fruit?
No, not yet.
Because I thought the understanding was that he was able to take multiple fruits because of his split personality, which gave him three different souls.
That's true. But also, it makes no sense.
Because to me, if that's the case with his split personality allowing him to have those fruits because of this whole thing, to me that makes sense. Because it goes, okay, Luffy's a one-soul guy, and how many people out there are split personality like that are going to be like, yeah, I'll eat multiple fruits, I got it.
Yeah. It just... Unfortunately, these are all theories until Oda's like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the big understanding.
I mean, with that book, I mean, who knows what's actually in there? Like, it could tell him about the fruits, but it could also tell him how he can achieve three fruits, or how multiple fruits at a time. So who knows? Like, maybe...
yeah, because we don't know what the fruit grafts to or whatever. Yeah. If it's personality, if it's your soul, if it's your body. Whatever.
Yeah, because that's
That's the other thing. I've heard that, like, well, because we haven't seen. I don't know. It's hard because, like, I've seen where, like, people have said that maybe each fruit is attached to a different soul, so he has to be, that personality has to be in control for the fruit to even take hold. And so maybe that's where you get this, like, softer Whitebeard that just wants to hang out because that's the one that doesn't have the devil fruit. So
yeah, but we've seen
not, like, power hungry.
That duality of, like, personalities.
Yeah, but we've seen him use two different fruits at the same time. So for that to make sense, it doesn't make sense because he'd have to let other personalities take over to use each fruit, but he's using two fruits at the same time.
I would say that, like you're saying with the idea of, like, each soul, but at the same time, this is kind of like a manga, so the idea of, like, two souls manifesting at the same time possibly could make sense. You know, like...
What if he was a twin and he killed the other...
There was two more kids and he ate those kids.
And clone Blackbeard and then fuse the bodies.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
there's so much stuff.
Vegapunk's true idea of, like, what is a soul has been that kind of, like, major thing for his studies right now.
No, he's a Rocks clone. He's a Rocks clone, everybody.
Maybe that's why he's so fat.
They're really alive inside him.
He was at God Valley and ate rocks.
So then, moving on. This is your guys' discussion, because I'm not there yet. But the anime pacing.
Listen.
It's One Piece. The pacing's never been great.
You guys...
Like, I don't mind the manga. The pacing in the manga, for what it is fine. But they literally... Since they try to go 1-1 for manga to anime, the pacing doesn't work as well in anime like it does in manga, which, I mean, but they're kind of shoehorned into doing it that way.
Yeah, because you have that problem of like, you know,
fillers and stuff like that.
You know, a couple videos came out if you want to watch those about some of the things that I'm talking about here. But the idea that like we set our own pace as we read. So of course, going into when it comes out on the screen, you're like,
in your case, a really slow pace.
Wow. I was gonna say most of the time I'm the one that's like, have you guys read the chapter yet? But at the same time, yeah, like setting the pace in your mind is very different from setting your pace in the anime. So when you see a lot of this stuff, yeah, you're kind of like, okay, are they going to cut in the middle of a chapter just to kind of like give our cliffhanger of the week?
Yeah.
I think One Piece fans have been conditioned over 1,000 episodes to think that this level of pacing is just...
Well, that's what.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't transfer over.
No. It doesn't transfer over because like most animes will cover like 2-3 chapters per episode, and I'm not saying that like One Piece has to move at that kind of speed, but like even in this last episode, spoiler alert, they essentially beat Big Mom. Like they shoot her down the hole, and then like I get it that it's 2 separate chapters, but it's like probably could have just combine those 2 chapters and just finished Big Mom in this one episode, and it probably would have been paced a lot better moving forward. But it's like, this is what One Piece fans are used to. This is what Toei does. So like,
yeah, I was gonna say having not watched the episode but knowing how the current animation style it is and everything like that, do you feel like they've been kind of foregoing pacing for the sake of like a showy animation?
No, because One Piece has been doing this for a really long time.
That is very true.
But I will say it does make it more palatable, though.
That the animation is good.
Yes, because, like, if... No offense to that original art style, but if it did still look like OG One Piece and we're still
it would be
this
great.
Pacing, it would be... Like, with this pacing, I wouldn't understand how like people were still watching because I would just be so tired. It needed
the upgrade. As much as I enjoyed the old style, it needed an upgrade.
Bro, like every episode looks like a movie.
To me, like peak One Piece animation is like
Vegapunk.
No, Vegapunk
or not Vegapunk. Punk Hazard. Sorry.
No, like well, I guess that's technically going into that, but like Dressrosa.
Really?
Yeah, I love the way Dressrosa looks. Like. Because it's a mix of the new and the old.
Yeah.
You kind of get best of both worlds because you're like, oh, okay, this looks really sharp at times. Like, flames look really good.
You know, unfortunately, but as much as I have to admit this, it's because of Demon Slayer. That they had,
for sure, yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, dude, like, they get success just by having great animation.
Like, Demon Slayer, and then later, I think, in that same season... Jujutsu Kaisen, like, kind of put the other animes on watch to be like, this is what we're doing in your same kind of time period, so what's your excuse?
Yeah. Okay. So, like, they had to upgrade.
Especially coming from, like, Toei, who's, like, been this powerhouse for so long, and they haven't been doing that.
Yeah. Also,
look at Dragon Ball Z, it still looks the same.
Looks worse.
but Goku is silver now.
Color swap.
It's so insane to me that like with as lucrative as Dragon Ball and One Piece have been, that it took this long to get like One Piece to look like this. And even with Dragon Ball, it's like they do that thing where because during the Tournament of Power, for the most part, it looks awful. But like I forget who the animation director was, but some of the episodes are just really good. Like the final episode of the Tournament of Power is phenomenal because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, it can look like this all the time.
It makes me wonder if they
that's like budget cuts.
They were doing that. They did the movies, and they go, okay, we know for a fact that it's not that hard anymore.
No.
So they go, well, yeah, let's just bring it to the shows now. Yeah. Especially if they're like keeping on some of the animators that are doing it, they know, okay, you can do that like that footage in maybe a day day or two. So we're going to give you that stuff. You're good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not to mention the idea of, we saw it in My Hero Academia during the overhaul fight. We've definitely been seeing it in this Wano arc for One Piece. The idea of bringing in guest animators. Mm-hmm. Them going, okay, let's bring in the guest. This will be kind of their signature episode. And that gives some of our guys a little break to do other fights down the way.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess we'll really just have to see what happens after Wano. Because, part of me is worried that, it looks like this for Wano, and then it's just going to be back to regular.
Well, Gear 5 is in, August?
Now, yeah. Because I guess there's another episode postponement.
Really?
Yeah. Because I think we were talking about it, because somebody had come in, and they were saying that there was a filler episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's okay, then you can see that they're
Is it a recap of, basically everything that happened?
So people are kind of okay, we're slowing down because either it could have been because Oda was on break now, so they're okay, we can't go too fast because our animators still need to catch up to all that stuff. Because, that's the big question of how far have they animated out to be okay, we do need a little break here, we don't need a little break here, because, Reverie was right on with the manga. Oh, so it's maybe we need some space here.
That's true, and that might also be why the pacing in the anime is so rough. Is just because Oda does take weeks off and stuff like that. So just to make sure that you're not catching up to the manga, you have to take that route.
Yeah, but they're not even remotely caught up.
No, but that's what I'm saying, is that we don't know technically on the back end how close they are.
True. Yeah. Oh, without the special effects and all that stuff put in,
So what? We've talked about One Piece. We've talked about Geo. What else? I know we were going to bring up Kraven. And then...
They're just ruining the Sinister 6, huh?
Yeah, especially if this is what it's leading into. We've known for years that this is what it's leading into.
Just give it back. Give it back to Marvel.
I never will understand making villains anti-heroes.
Especially if they're a cut-and-dry villain. And this goes back to expectation versus reality. It's there is so much source material for Kraven. Yeah. Why are they giving him all these powers that he doesn't have?
Yeah. Lion's blood.
Charlie
Sheen. Yeah. Shout out Charlie Sheen.
Tiger blood.
Yeah.
But, so this goes back to, I don't know if you watched this as a kid, because I did. There used to be a movie/show, I don't know, and then I think they turned it into a graphic novel called Beastmaster, where he had the same powers. He would have, he's kind of like Conan, but he had beasts following him. He had 2 little ferrets that would steal shit for him. He had a tiger that he can see through their eyes, or a hawk he can see through their eyes.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's a really old show/movie, but it's basically that they're giving him Beastmaster powers. It's why? Kraven was just a hunter, and Kraven's backstory is he just hunted and hunted until there was no more game to hunt. Yeah, and he just wanted a fucking shot of adrenaline. So he was just well, what's bigger game than a lion? A meta-human. Spider. And then Spider. He just kept going up the apex food chain.
Yeah, because
as far as the Marvel universe.
I know in one iteration for Kraven, he's related to Scorpion. And Scorpion is the one that's I think
it's the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, I think so. It's he's if you want a challenge, I'm dealing with this guy. And that's why Kraven comes to New York to face Spider-Man.
They know each other through the underground,
the Syndicate or whatever.
Yeah. Or whatever. Because I think Kraven or something challenged one of them challenged each other, and he's like, well, maybe you could be a prey, and then Scorpion's like, well, if you don't think I am, then this guy beat me. Yeah. He's like, oh, really? And kind of like that.
Yeah, because there's a scene in the trailer where he's on the ground and it looks like he's in a spider's nest. It looks almost, albeit a little more realistic, but it almost feels like the Harry Potter scene where they go to see the giant spiders and they're all coming down.
Oh,
And my wife, Miss Moustache, was even talking about it. She's like, don't tell me in that scene he's going to be like, I hate spiders.
Oh,
like, and that's going to lead into our kind of like Easter egg for Spider-Man. But yeah, it just feels very
forced.
Yeah.
It feels like, and then not just like the whole canon change, like the whole theme of Kraven changes, because it's like, oh, I want revenge on my asshole dad for like
being mean,
trying to toughen me up, but it didn't work apparently. And it's fucking Russell. Like, all the actors are great.
Yeah.
Russell Crowe, who's playing Kraven, what's his name?
Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah.
I love him as an actor, but, like, why are you doing
That's
this?
why, like, I was very excited when they casted him, but then when they were like, Spider-Man's not involved, I was like, but why?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Because I feel like I think that's the reason why we're getting so many anti-heroes, is the idea of, like, we need a movie, but they can't be the villain. Because if we make him the villain, then that means nobody's going to be pulling for them in the movie.
But
don't make the movie.
Yeah, right?
But it's like,
I think Venom as an anti-hero is fine because
that works because he is an anti-hero in the comics.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
And then, like, even the Morbius thing, I feel like that could have possibly worked if they worked more of the split personality rather than him kind of knowing he's Morbius and these are the things that he has to do to be kind of like
they could have
alive,
like Jackal.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have worked better. But Kraven is just out now. Just this doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like,
well, the thing with Kraven, Morbius that needed to happen that happened in the comics was he had Blade.
No, yeah, that's true.
To kind of shadow him, like whenever he lost control to his hunger, like he had Blade to kind of like overpower him, be like, you need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
But since Blade's back in the Marvel,
yeah.
They're like, oh, we can't use Blade.
See, because that's another idea too, is that like Morbius, we saw no toy sales. Like, with Kraven, because he's more of a normal person, do we get that this time? Because is Sony banking completely on movies now that they're not going to be like, okay, let's try to do toy sales so that we can kind of make more money than we can off the movie? Because Morbius didn't do well on a release. Yeah. So it's like...
Yeah, it did well because of the memes.
Yeah, well, after the another release. Yeah. But, like, where is the kind of bank for, like, Kraven on this time?
Well, unfortunately, it's Sony just having to shell out movies so they don't lose licenses.
Yeah.
It goes back to the whole Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. Like, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, they have to keep dishing out movies or they lose the license, which leads to bad movies.
Shit. God forbid, dude. God forbid they go, damn, we're really kind of killing it on this animated shit with Into the Spider-Verse. Why don't we just do a fully animated Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
People would probably really like that. And then they go, well, now all of these Sinister Six people
so
we
the
got,
problem with
bring
that
it way.
Is that part of the licensing? Because...
Oh, I get what you... So...
Because they've made Miles, but maybe it's because they were forced to make it with Miles.
I don't know, because that whole Spider-Man, technically I think Miles Morales comes out the same time, if not a little after, all of the stuff with, like, Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Sure.
Because I think it was fairly close. That's
what I'm saying, though. Like, are they allowed to make live-action Spider-Man, but they're not allowed to animate him? Because licensing is so stupid.
Because technically we have Peter B. Parker, not Peter Parker.
Mm.
Licensing is so stupid.
Yeah.
Because what? They have access to this, and this villain, but Marvel still gets this, and this.
So they have, I think, technically all of the Sinister Six, and then Venom, and then... I think that's it right now?
Yeah, for the most part. They've already done Mysterio. So who have they done? Vulture, Mysterio, Rhino, technically.
Did we get a Mysterio?
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh no, but that's a Marvel thing.
Oh, but they was partnered with Sony, right?
technically yes and no, because that would be technically a Marvel villain.
Oh, true.
But he's, in a Sony movie. Because then because right now, yeah, because that's something we didn't touch on in the trailer either, the Rhino thing. And then, because that makes me really weird about Vulture. And then, technically we get Scorpion.
Yeah.
But we just don't get him,
in
villain
the suit.
Yeah.
And Shocker, too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or we get a Shocker.
Yeah. Because it's we see, because isn't the after credits for Morbius Vulture? I'm pretty sure it's Vulture.
I think so? Yeah, it is.
So it's okay,
and
so
same
he's
thing with
in that
Venom,
universe.
Right?
Venom's after credits was him going
back to his universe.
Yes, but then the symbiote
stays.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland's already tweeting about the script for the next Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be super good or whatever.
But yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. We're at 45 minutes almost.
So, have you read any of the Miles comics?
No.
So, this might be spoilers, guys, but in the Spider-Man comics, Miles, Gwen's, and Miguel's universe all get destroyed, and that's why they're stuck in 616.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that, Miguel saying that he's the anomaly and his, he could bring the ruin of his universe, it might just happen. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Because I know, there is a version of Gwen where her suit is made for the symbiote.
Fuck you.
So yeah, I don't know, do we get... Because I'm definitely... Because, yeah, we've all watched Into the Spider-Verse, right? Or is it Across the Spider-Verse? I don't... There's a Spider-Verse's thing.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Verses.
But, yeah, this whole animation thing. Everybody's well, it's going to get delayed. But it's the first movie got delayed. Mm-hmm. So it's that wouldn't be a surprise for this one to do the same thing, especially with the news of all these animators being yeah, we're definitely overworked. Mm-hmm. It's I don't know, it feels like anything that's kind of digitally made.
Yeah. I love how the American writers and animators are overworked, while in Japan their fingers are bleeding.
Yeah. And they're we're overworked too, but we're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. What is it?
Are you talking about the...
What's it called?
Starship Troopers?
No. Oh. What's this animation studio in Japan right now? The bigger...
Mappa.
Yeah, Mappa.
Mappa and what's the other one?
Football that does Demon Slayer?
Yeah. They're all fucking overworked.
Oh, yeah. Mappa especially.
Yeah, they're getting what? There's people saying that they're getting 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours of sleep a night. They're sleeping in the office. Oh, that's so rough.
See, but that's... I don't know, that's also, I feel Japanese workforce anyway, you're always kind of sleeping.
The norm, yeah.
Hey man, watch out for the subs. No new game news, really.
Final Fantasy 16 is amazing. Fuck Diablo.
Oh.
Fuck
Okay.
Starfield. Fuck Zelda. I think this is Game of the Year. At least for me. So far. Set pieces, story, gameplay, graphics, everything. It's a masterpiece.
I remember you were showing me a cinematic, and it looked cool.
It's a fucking anime, dude.
It's very hard to, because you were very stoked about it, and I know you were.
And then it's hard to gauge just watching, yeah.
Yeah, because you're look at this. This looks so sick. Yeah. And I'm just oh, yeah, man, there's monsters fighting.
What did you show him, Phoenix and Ifrit?
No, I saw them Titan versus Ifrit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm just
Have you started it?
Yeah, but I didn't play that far. I got to...
Dude, the cutscenes are so long.
They are. It really is like a movie. Yeah, I'm not far at all. I think I'm right at the first I forget what they're even called. Like the freaking crashed like ancient shit that's just like all over the world.
Oh, the Hideaway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
You met Sid, of course, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out Sid.
Or Lorath.
Shout out Sid in every game.
Oh wait, like.
There's a Sid in every Final Fantasy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's usually the guy that pilots the ship / boat or whatever you're using.
Yeah, because I remember Sid from Advent Children, of course,
Yeah.
when he shows up in... Because he's in Kingdom Hearts as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same character.
Yeah.
He's in every
Yeah.
almost every Final Fantasy. Or there's a guy named Sid that does the same thing. He kind of like is like the leader of a band / pilot /
Because I was trying to think of... Now that you say that, I'm trying to think of 10 and who he is in 10.
There's no Sid in 10. There's a Sid in 10 with Yuffie. Her dad is like Sid or something.
Was that the guy without the arm?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember 10 that well.
I played a lot of the 10 demo because it was on one of the like PlayStation Underground discs.
Oh, God.
Fair enough.
So...
I think
Shout out Sid from 15.
Sid in 15. I don't remember 15 that
Certified
much.
baddie.
Oh,
she had the car shop.
That was Sid?
That was it.
Oh, in the yellow jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that was Sid. Holy shit.
A lot of weird feelings. It's like, you're usually a guy, but I'm not mad.
Damn, what up, homie? So yeah, I guess we'll end it there. Big shout out to Geo, of course. Hope you watched the whole episode. I'm sure you'll have some wise words in the comments.
Wise.
But yeah, I guess maybe next episode we'll talk a little bit, I guess, about ourselves. Because I'm like, I've been on a different channel. You guys know a lot about me, hopefully. But I guess the other two you don't know too much about.
I've been on the channel before.
I know. But
Really?
well, I was going to say, yeah, because that was this channel, yeah.
That was... I think it's still in... Is it still in...
Yeah, no, I don't delete my videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No.
That was what, like 9 years ago?
I feel like maybe farther?
2009 at least. No, like 11 or 12.
Because I've technically now been on YouTube for 12 years.
Jesus.
Let's see. I don't know if it'll let me look at my sort by... yeah, at least 10 years ago?
Damn.
Yeah. Because that was when I was doing my, like, unboxings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that would have been around that time. Yeah. But, until next time, guys. I've been Moustache.
Jay.
Chris.
I don't even know where the camera's at.
It's
I'm just
right
looking
there.
at a random direction. Jay, hi.
Later.